all the listeners of Cart Path Diem. Breathe along, and let's journey into the mind of one man as he discovers the universal truth and reads the neurons and brain waves and synapses firing in his mind. Oh, there they are. Oh, and the forest has showed up too. Stamps.com, everybody. You know, I'm going to back down my space sounds. Folks, we couldn't do this show if it wasn't for the lovely folks who advertise with us here on Cart Path Diem. Available at 4256productions.com. Available on iTunes. Also available in the 4256 production studio After the Illusion and Disrupt the Road. And so thank you so much for taking part of your day. And you can help us by clicking through one of the portals. Maybe it's the Amazon.com link. Maybe you click on that Amazon.com link right there on JohnTole.com. You shop just like you'd shop on Amazon. Maybe you click on the Stamps.com link. You realize 400,000 people are using Stamps.com. USPS approved postage. Printed right from your computer. Standard mail. Priority mail. They have a special $80 offer right now, which includes some postage and a 4-week risk-free trial. Why not try it? I know I use it when I have to send out my CDs and my t-shirts to folks all over the country. I drop it on the scale, and I know what everything weighs. The next thing I know, bammo, the postage is on there. I don't have to go to the post office. I don't have to wait in line. I don't have to sit in traffic because the post office is handling everything for me. And we're getting to the point of our society. It's society on demand, and Stamps.com allows that to happen. Well, maybe, John, you're asking, maybe I want to gussy up my stamps. Well, then go to photostamps.com. You go to photostamps.com. Oh, your own pictures. Right there on your own postage. Anywhere from 39-cent denominations to $4.05. Special introductory offer right there. You just click the link right there on JohnTole.com. You upload your own photo. You can resize it. You can add a border. And what's better to send not only a handwritten letter, but with your own face on your own stamp? If that isn't America, then I don't know what is. And I think as we start right now, thank you so much for supporting the podcast. Thank you so much for supporting the production. For all of you subscribing on iTunes and sharing it on the internet. Everybody reaching out. You guys are all incredible. We couldn't do it if it weren't for you. If you want to throw a donation our way, there's a donation link right there on the blog and also on the podcast page at JohnTole.com. Guys, this is Cart Path Diem. This is episode 6, and we are hot, cocked, and ready to rock. And you know, it always starts with a little bit of off the wheels. This was Friday night in Austin, and they say they keep it weird here in Austin, and sometimes drunks show up to the front row and try to take over the show, but I never let it happen. Why are you not sitting? Can we get a... All right. No, come on. What's your first name, sir? Todd Peterson. Todd, I don't know about what happened to you in Lacey in the middle of the Bay, all right? But that is a weird nickname to go. For those of you who study serial killers from the Bay Area, this guy just went to the reference bank. What was he going to talk about? Come on, Todd. Were you going to meet Todd tonight? It's fine. Come on down, Todd. Give it up for Todd, everybody. Working it out. We now have a front row. Oh, and you were carrying her purse and you tried to cover it over with the jacket. You faggot. Sit down.
I need to talk to you about a serious concern that was brought to my attention today.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined.
So what we are trying to do is return the focus of attention to individual experience. We have been slave too long to ideology transmitted hierarchically and based on a tremendously alienating instrumentality. That's what science depends on now, a tremendously alienating instrumentality. What we need to do is empower experience. Well, this is where the psychedelics come in, because citizens don't take psychedelics because it's illegal. Neither do marionettes. Neither do robots. None of these well-behaved and mechanistic reductionist images of humanity take psychedelics.
And when you're in fucking Brooklyn, you best watch your back!
Welcome back into the Cart Path here at 4256, Cart Path Diem, episode number 6. We find ourselves awash in the digital world of information, bullshit, extraneous distractions, and everything keeping us from fulfilling our dreams. But hey, you've got time to kill. You're in a commute. Are you not signaling? Are you a guy that's are you riding somebody's bumper? Have you thrown up the double tall boy bird and said, go fuck yourself in the traffic of life? Or are you saying, no, merge over? All right, let's all get along. We'll all get there together, as long as everybody treats each other well. And I guess in the end, isn't that the point? I find myself on a short broadcast day. I spent the afternoon at KLBJ doing the show before the show with Beto. You can find that show at klbj937.com/Beto. B as in boy, D as in doe. Spell it out, figure it out, figure out how to use Google. You're going to find me. It was a phenomenal show. We got on air today, and, well, you know what? Beto and I, we make magic. You guys know that. All you rowdy rockers know that. All you warriors know that. Everybody here in Austin, Texas knows it. I'm getting ready for my shows tonight at the Velveeta Room, so when you hear this, those shows will have been over. I will have already have had those shows. I will already have ridden a bus downtown. I will always have avoided eye contact with strangers. I will have evaded the police and anybody wondering how that guy could be so high and walking along the streets there on 6th Street. And where am I going to be right now? If you're listening to this as it launches on Tuesday the 11th, well, I am in Los Angeles. Tonight I will be doing a show, Sleepaway Camp, with Brody Stevens, Joe DeRosa, Sean Patton, you name it. Shelby Farrell's going to be on there. A lot of great comics. So if you're in the LA area and you're listening, well, come on down. And if you're a SoCal person, then I'm in town all week. All of you thrashers, all of you ragers there in San Diego, or looking for a comedic experience, well, then come on out to the Comedy Palace. We got shows on the 14th and 15th, and I'm going to be in town there for 3 or 4 days looking around and seeing what's changed. Is there still fist fights on Garnett? Are we going to be at PB Bar and Grill getting bumped into by frat dudes and guys with tribal tattoos who spend the day only doing biceps, not a single leg workout in sight? Maybe San Diego's cleaned up its image a little bit. Maybe the solid fist fighting, maybe the bros versus the military versus the hippies versus the hip hop dudes. Maybe the beef has been squashed. I don't know. I've been away for so long, and it's nice to come back. What are you going to do? Really? I got to fly? And you know what that means? That means I'm taking off at 7:30, and that means I got to be at the airport at 5:30. You got to be there 2 hours before that. If they tell you 2 hours, because you know what happens? You're like, no. What about an hour 40? Yeah, well, then guess what? Now you're in the line for the computer with everybody else who showed up at an hour 40. And I'd rather get my boarding pass, stand there, go through the scanner, and you're in traffic with double tall boys. I'm in the TSA scanner. Double tall boys telling them what I think about my civil liberties. I do whatever the fuck they say. I just need to get on this airplane and make this trip because California, the weather. Oh, are you living in a part of the country? Are you in one of the 67 percentile of this country that is awash in snow and ice? Are you living in a tundrous experience? Are you freezing to death? Did you run to the store and get all the bread and the peanut butter and the milk because even your awful town with awful weather is going through a snowpocalypse, as they say? Beto always nailing the snowpocalypse. I for one, you know what? If it's cold, wear a coat. If it's hot, wear shorts. I wear shorts all the time, and isn't that the point? But what have we figured out so far? Be nice to each other in traffic. Be nice to the TSA agents, and show up early for your flight. What more can you do? Think about it, really, what it comes down to. Started the show off with a little computer-operated voice. People are always like, John, who are these clips that you're playing? What is going on there? And I'm going to bust it out. A little JFK warning us about conspiracies. A little Terrence McKenna telling us that psychedelics are the route past the control structures of religious institutions, political institutions, and those that would seek to divide you using product and using race and using class. Oh, are we really that evolved in America? Have we really gotten to a point where things have improved? Are we really an equal society? Some may say yes, some may say no. This story coming up here, based out of Oklahoma. Well, I've been to Oklahoma. I play in Oklahoma City and I play in Tulsa. I've seen folks who have been very progressive, and I've also spent some time at a gun range. All right, and according to what we saw here on rawstory.com. And the Channel 4 that covered us, boy, we're just going to jump right into this. I don't even know how to say the title of this without even being just on my own inflammatory stuff. This story's been shared almost 31,000 times here on Raw Story, and Channel 4 weighed in with a story that can only be entitled, Oklahoma Restaurant Won't Serve Freaks, Faggots, the Disabled, and Welfare Recipients. Well, boy, hey, they shouldn't serve me with my inability to speak English on my own podcast here on Carpath Diem, where we accept everybody, all right? You want to wear a thong, you go for it. You got assless chaps, you fly that freak flag. You want to work clean, you want to work dirty, you want to dance. Whatever you're into, we don't give a shit. We are at 100% inclusive here on this podcast, because what else can we be? Think about it. What else can we be in the society but open to everybody? So if you're in your cubicle, don't hate the person to the right or the left of you. They're in the same hell you are. Make it better for them. If you're in traffic, let somebody merge. Use your signal, all right? If you own a restaurant, don't be an asshole. As we jump into Channel 4.
Take you to Enid now, where the owner of a restaurant's coming under fire after some of his customers claim he's running his business under policies that are offensive and discriminatory.
Hey, we're going out there, and I'm using this voice. Even these broads, even these news broads, and you know, really, honestly, who am I to ever talk shit about the way anybody professionally delivers? You know, because, look, let's be honest. If I'm outwardly being aggressive by the cheesy way somebody reads the news, well, then you can say, your inflections are pretty much the same thing.
We talked with him, and fair warning, some of his language is harsh. News Channel 4's Ashley Kringen has the story.
Now yelling over that.
Gary.
All right, now you automatically know that when you cue the Barrett banjo, when they go, all right, look, we're gonna talk about this guy's restaurant. We're gonna talk about the fact that maybe from time to time he lets some things slip. He's a little loose with his words. Hey, he's an older guy. He lives in Eden, Oklahoma. I've never been. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's one of those towns that a tornado has touched down to, and that the UN rebuilt using Agenda 21. But I'm not going to get into that. All right, I'm sure Enid and the fine folks of Enid are great people, and you know what? Not everybody is representative of this guy's business or the way he thought. But the news, if you ever want to just bury somebody for being a redneck Barrett, and when I say Barrett, that comes from, of course, Blaze from One Life Crew. He and I had a townhouse together there in Columbus back in the 90s, and anytime anybody did something that was any type of white trash, he was first one to jump in there and call them a Barrett, which he described as the sound that a bass guitar makes in a shitty country band.
Chicaro's, a restaurant and bar in Enid. It's been open for more than 4 decades and carries quite the reputation.
I've been in business 44 years. I think I can spot a freaker.
You know what? Woman whose ethnicity I can't really determine if you're Asian or Italian, I'm going to say anything that the fuck I want. I've been in this business for 44 years. You step across my threshold and boy, all of a sudden I turn into George Bush. Let me tell you something about what's really going on in my America. These people want to come in here and taste my ribs, but they better be the kind of American that's flying the red, white, and flag like I fly. Made in China.
I really don't want gays around.
Well, okay. All right, buddy. Most people who say they don't want the gays around are normally gay, so you really have to back it off on that, buddy. You know, let's, hey, maybe you want somebody tickling your ribs, you know what I mean? If you know what I mean. Well, I think if you told this guy you were going to end and tickle his ribs, he'd probably just shoot you. How many guns does this guy have in his arsenal? What kind of a restaurant has it? I'm just assuming, allegedly. If you have these kind of thoughts, if you're into this kind of thing, I'm sure you have an arsenal.
I don't deal with these people walking down the street with no jobs, welfare. If I reached over there and slapped the shit out of you, you should be offended. But to say chink, or somebody call me a bigot, that doesn't bother me. Why should it bother you?
Would you call me chink?
No.
Would you call me a chink? He goes, no. I saw this reporter, and she doesn't look. Well, that's the thing. I don't know. She must have in mind you. Look, if she was talking and said her name, I wasn't really paying attention. But I watched, you watched the clip here. I just don't fire these things off, whatever. I don't have these things all set up willy-nilly like it's a Russian roulette of stories. All right, look, like this thing. Of course, my ADD runneth wild. And everybody knows that sometimes I have issues staying on track. You know what I mean? I could be in the middle of this story, and the next thing I know, I'm on woman becomes the first person to be jailed for trolling herself. Well, she's in the UK and she looks like Honey Boo Boo's mother. Well, she used a fake Facebook profile to send herself hundreds of abusive messages. She's been jailed for 20 months. Well, then that's the thing. Don't be an asshole online and don't be an asshole in real life. Whether you are a ginormous person whose stepfather had something against you, so you created a reign of terror to ruin his life, and the wife of his stepwife using fake characters, that doesn't make you the right to go down and create online profiles that would be deemed abusive. So abusive, you would get 20 months in jail. But you know what? You look like the woman who'd be eating at this guy's place.
Not unless we were drinking and joking around or something.
That.
Well, I'm going to call you a chink if we were, hanging around and drinking and being weird. But, that don't really mean nothing, you know what I'm saying? Because we were drunk.
It's the owner, Gary James. Now a wave of comments sweeping Facebook claim he refuses to serve blacks, Hispanics, and people with disabilities like Matt Gard.
He just doesn't like certain people of race, of color, ethnicity.
Gard was a regular at Gary's Chicaro's for years. He turned a blind eye to the owner's choice of customers.
Well, you turn a blind eye. What if all of a sudden now he's not serving the blind? Now not only are you in a wheelchair, And you're turning a blind eye. Now you have 17 strikes against you. I bet there's guarantee this guy's, if this guy believes in this kind of things about the handicap, then I can guarantee this dude doesn't have a fucking ramp. I'll tell you that much. All right. He's not going to Home Depot. All right. He's not getting his wood cut. And I like, what, look, how do you build a legal ramp? You know what he said? Go fuck yourself and go fuck your ramp. All right. If you can't hoof it into my building, if you don't have a job and love America and titties, you stay in the parking lot where you belong, man.
Until recently.
Now he tried to find a weak excuse to not let me in as with my wheelchair, or the weak excuse of having loud people with me.
Well, hey, sometimes you got some buddies and they don't know how to fucking keep a lid on it. Look, I can't take you guys anywhere. Well, the next thing you know, we're drinking, and then you're calling these people, Asian slurs, and then we're all in the parking lot kung fu fighting because you bumped the wrong guy. Sometimes you have to be a little cognizant about who you go out and party with, all right? I'm going to take this guy's side on it, all right? Yeah, don't come into my place and be loud when I'm going to hang out. And I'll tell you want to come hang out with me in Austin? You want to come to Austin? I'll tell you where I'm going to be. You're going to find me in my apartment. I don't go anywhere.
After getting turned away for a steak dinner, guard says it's about his disability.
He created the issue.
James claims that's not the case.
You only have one time here. You create an issue, you're out forever.
Now, does that mean he only has one time here as far as in the world we only have one time here? Or is he saying you only have one time on this planet? Because jumping back to the fat lady who would eat at his place, prosecutor Philip Lee said Chapman wanted to make their life hell and sought revenge on her father for matters in the past. Oh, she fell out of love with her in-laws after attempting a reunion with his father. She had not seen him for 21 years. There was an altercation and she became upset. Now doing 20 months in the pokey for being an a-hole online. Don't be an a-hole in traffic. Don't be an a-hole online. Don't be an a-hole if you own a restaurant. Look, on the cart path, don't be an a-hole in the cart path, all right? That's the thing. If I'm going to have one rule, all right, you pull your weight and you bring beer when I tell you to.
Guard and at least 140 others on this Facebook page say James has crossed the line to discrimination.
All right, and for 140 comments, I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but I have never posted a single thing on Facebook that has had 140 comments. And you can find me on Facebook and Twitter at John Tole, JOHNTOLE, or at JohnTole.com. Engage with the one-liners. Engage with when I post up Terrence McKenna's brilliance. Engage when I'm just saying, yo, listen to the podcast or support the sponsors or check out my buddy's shows. Just engage.
Even the business's t-shirt is offensive. Derogatory slogans against homosexuals splashed on both sides.
Well, it was splashed on both sides.
It has the N-word on the front, and check out the sleeve.
Well, well, all right. Now let's play a guessing game, because if he's saying, look, this is how I'm hyping my business. You hype your business your way. I'll hype my business my way, and my business needs a shirt with the N-word on it. My business needs to demean Muslims. My business needs to say fuck the handicapped and anybody on welfare. Well, so what do you think is on the sleeve? Like, are you guessing swastika? All right, I'm gonna say, well, who? You know what? If this guy believes it, is that any different? Except if he was around during Hitler's time, Hitler would have killed him because he was killing the morons. So I don't think this guy would have made it unless Hitler would have looked at him and said, you know what? I love the cut of your racist jib, and I love the fact that you make designer T-shirts. What can you do with these drab uniforms I'm making my guys wear?
Offensive to women and threats of violence against Muslims, minorities, and Democrats. James proudly wears the shirt.
Are we? You know what? Is this real? Is this we absolutely live that. I don't. Come on, think about that. You're not in Eden, Oklahoma. What if this is just somebody sitting at home making up? Wait, what if it's just a guy? What if this is just a guy who's able to do a couple accents? He's doing the woman's voice. He's doing the racist guy's voice. He's just faking the news. And now I'm talking about it. Now I'm down this rabbit hole of racism. Or have we really gotten to the point where things are so fucked up that this is one of the top stories? It's right. What am I going to talk about? The Olympics? Am I going to talk about the guy that couldn't get out of his shitter, so he had to use an ice skate to carve through it like he was breaking out of Alcatraz, and I will be going to San Francisco tomorrow. I'm going to be going to San Francisco tomorrow. That's that tie-in. Or what else are we saying from the Sochi Olympics? That the fifth O in the O-ring didn't open up, and so Vladimir Putin's homophobic stance there in Russia. Well, Putin's is no different than this guy, except Putin doesn't have a rib recipe. He could spend the money on a rib recipe, but he's going to take the money. No one's going to get a recipe, and the fifth rib isn't going to open, just like the fifth O in the Olympics. Is it an O? It's a circle. It's a ring. The fifth ring didn't open. The official O-ring did not open for, well, don't let me do it. The O-ring didn't open, and what do we know about this guy? He dances with bears, all right, shirtless. Is that enough? Can we just close the closet on this guy? What do you think about that?
I really don't want gays around. Any man that would compromise his body would compromise anything.
Now, mind you, this guy, I want to say he's coming in at about 290, and it's all gut. All right, it's all, and I'm not being disparaging here. I'm just being honest. So for this guy to say that homosexuals' sexual activity would be damaging to the body, well, buddy, let's get a mirror first.
Loud behavior that doesn't sit well with everyone.
The people that still go back and patronize his business are condoning his behavior and how he treats other people.
Well, if you work, you own a business, you pay your taxes, you're more than welcome in here.
Now see, if that doesn't sound like your uncle, then maybe you're not paying a lot of attention to your relatives. All right, look, I think I can guarantee we all have a friend. We all have a relative. Maybe we have a neighbor where if you got them in a really, really honest moment, they might drop a nugget of truth just like that, followed by a look around and saying, I'm not racist, but...
If you're on welfare, stay at home. Spend my money there.
Strong words in a small town where so far no one has challenged his business practices.
Why would they?
In Enid, Ashley Kringen, News Channel 4.
There you go. Well, why would anybody challenge it? All right, he's obviously in a place where that kind of thought is a thing you can get away with. All right, he's the kind of guy that says, "Hey, I got a home team here, and I'm going to go with the woman who brought me here." And he's not actually the worst guy that I've encountered in my search here through the digital mediums. Any story, any rabbit hole I find down, tickling the frontal lobe, saying, pay your attention over here, Johnny. What do you got? Parents killed girl by making her drink too much grape soda water, authorities say. That was a weird headline. CNN says a Tennessee couple faces murder charges for allegedly punishing a man's 5-year-old daughter by making her gulp excessive amounts of water and grape soda, leading to her death. Alexa Lindboom was forced to guzzle the fluids after she took 1 or 2 grape drinks that belonged to her. Well, you know what? Sometimes you got to go for the Sunny D, hun. All right, everybody knows that sometimes you just can't grab for the purple stuff. All right, sometimes look, Sunny D way more healthy than look. If it's purple, nothing in it. All right, grapes are purple, but that's it. All right, so and obviously, if it's a grape soda, it's not a healthy thing. But is the punishment to fucking guzzle 2 liters? She was allegedly force-fed so much liquid that it caused the sodium level in her body to go down and caused her brain to swell. Oof, don't drink soda. I mean, look, I have a Starbucks addiction that I can't overcome. What are you going to do? I'm doing my best. In addition to drinking more than 2 liters of fluid in about 2 hours, she suffered from other forms of punishment. He didn't get into specifics. She was unresponsive. The pair drove her to the hospital on New Year's Day in 2012. Oh, so this happened a long time ago. They are just now fucked. Hey, nothing like taking 2 years to fucking... 2 days later, she was declared brain dead, removed from life support. A 2-year investigation. Yeah, here we are. A 2-year investigation determined her death was a homicide. Well, fuck yeah, it was a homicide. You make anybody drink grape soda and they die. I mean, you're going up the pokey. All right, maybe the rib guy. Maybe I can guarantee that racist fucking guy with the restaurant does not have grape soda in his. And I could guarantee. I would put my ball up against Armstrong's missing one. That there is not a single ounce of grape soda in that dude's establishment. Randall Lee Vaughn, 41, and his wife Mary LaVaughn Vaughn. Mary LaVaughn. You know, if y'all get married, your middle name's going to be Levon Vaughn. You know that? It's like having the same name, even though they're spelled different. Mary, are you sure you want to go for it? I mean, you are 17 years his elder. I mean, he's 41, you're 58. Well, I mean, what's that like in the back? Look, I understand you need your legs spread and he's pounding it with some serious man loins, but maybe 17 years, you know, maybe you ever think about the fact that you might not be a good stepmother? Maybe at your advanced age, you might, do something where, you might just kill a child. Well, maybe Levon Vaughn, you stepped in it. 2 counts of aggravated child neglect and aggravated child abuse. The Sir-Goinsville residents are being held on a $500,000. Well, fucking, that's the whole town's general fucking product. What's a GDP? General domestic. Yeah. I can guarantee. I don't know where Sir-Goinsville is. All right, but they don't have a $500,000. The whole fucking town doesn't have a $500,000. They're going, and they didn't even enter in a plea, and they're going to their trial is scheduled to start in October. So this just comes out. This literally just comes out, and they're not even going to trial till fucking October. All right, and I'm always going to the comments. Stop the planet. I'm getting off. All right. There you go. And there's another guy says people should have to get a license and pass a psych exam before having children. Rest in peace, little girl. Oh, well, that's the story. We're all going to go, and you just don't want to go in a sad, tragic way, and that's, if speaking of sad and traffic, I don't know what you guys know about the fact that bankers have been killing themselves, and what people were calling suicides, even though if you had a, gun to my head, or in this case, nail gun to my head, I would have to look the other way, all right? Obviously, there's something nuts going on. 3 fucking bankers have already, let's get into the story. 4th financial service executive found dead, quote unquote, from self-inflicted nail gun wounds. Well, I don't know how you laid out your mousetrap plan about the way you were going to leave this earth. Did it involve a handgun? Did it involve a class in how to tie knots? Did it involve a chair and kicking it off and just swinging to and fro as your legs kicked and you thought about all the crazy decisions you had ever made in your financial empire? The ugly rash of financial services executive suicides appears to have spread once again following the jumping deaths of 2 London bankers and a former Fed economist in the U.S. The Denver Post reports Richard Tole, founder of CEO American Title, was found dead in his home from self-inflicted wounds from a nail gun. Oofa. This is off talkmarkets.com, but also from Zero Hedge. They're written by Tyler Durden, and the guy's using a Fight Club pseudonym, so the guy knows what he's talking about. All right, look. Richard Tole, 457, and the company founded in 2001 were under investigation by state insurance regulators at the time of his death. Oh, the noose was closing around him. The coroner spokeswoman Thursday said Tole was found in his garage by a family member who called authorities. Well, I call authorities, and authority always win. They said Tole died from 7 or 8 self-inflicted wounds from a nail gun fire into his torso and head. Are you doing a test shot? Are you doing a test shot into your temple? Are you going, well, look, I don't know if this thing's gonna fucking kill me. All right, look, I watched the video where Snoop from The Wire went into Home Depot and bought the nail gun. I went in and watched the same one. The guy showed me how to use it. Look, I can't get a handgun because of all these indictments that I'm under. I'm sure that's the problem. Or is somebody go after this dude with a fucking nail gun? But 7 or 8 self-inflicted wounds. I mean, look, I'm one to procrastinate. Okay, I can guarantee if I'm not dead after that first nail, I'm quitting. All right, so the fact that this guy stuck with it and said, "Holy shit!" Bunk, 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 ow, bunk, ow, bunk, ow, bunk. And did he fire him off one in a row? Was he going for his heart? Is he shooting it into his neck? Aren't you kind of freaked out about that? I hope there's a follow-up story, but there's other things to celebrate. What about Truck Day, Boston Red Sox fans? Oh, it is February 8th. Pitchers and catchers are reporting as you hear this. Who's going to be in shape? Who's going to be fat? Who's going to have a bad rotator cuff? Is he going to become the guy we thought he was going to be? Is our pitching staff going to be healthy? Are we going to be able to defend the world championship we had in 2013? Well, look, and then that's the thing. As far as sports goes, I'm paying attention to the Red Sox, and I'm celebrating Truck Day like you should. Promoter calls off George Zimmerman DMX fight. Well, were you really going to watch that? Were you gonna chunk down your $29.95 and say, yeah, let me see Diem? And DMX wasn't even up on this fight. So this Damon Feldman there on Twitter, he put it together. He's like, this is going to be the biggest pay-per-view known to mankind. Zimmerman's on board. DMX was not on board. And the guy had so much heat and so much hate from it that he said, finally, look, people, look, don't freak out. Look, I understand it was a bad idea. All right, but quote, the George Zimmerman fight's canceled. I'm sorry. Anybody I hurt with this? It was a very big opportunity. Thank you. There's not a single ounce of punctuation in this thing. I want to thank everybody for the good and bad comments. I've made the choice to cancel the fight with George Zimmerman. More to life than money. Again, no punctuation. It was my decision to cancel the George Zimmerman fight. It was worth a lot of money to me, but people's feelings meant more to me. Well, boy, and let's see how 259, 256, 252, 320. You know what? Hey, I guess this guy did his mea culpa, and in the world of forgiveness, in the world of acceptance, if somebody apologizes, you gotta fucking take the apology. Someone that I would not really take the apology from, what about folks running a developmentally disabled fight club? There was a story that ran back, I want to say in 2008, about people who had a fight club with special needs. I had a whole joke that was the first rule of Retard Fight Club is don't eat Fight Club. Let's head over to CBS New York and see what the fuck they're talking about.
We begin with that breaking news and stunning allegations out of the Hamptons tonight, where 4 workers from a group home are facing serious charges.
They were supposed to be caring for disabled residents at a group home there, but prosecutors say they were using them for a sick form of entertainment. CBS 2's Carolyn Gussoff live in Hampton Bays with a story for us. Carolyn.
Maurice and Christine, good evening. Prosecutors are calling it a disturbing abuse of their position. 4 group home workers who were supposed to be taking care of disabled residents, instead accused of taking advantage of them.
Oh, now you love a news story where somebody's car alarm's going off and they're handling a delicate issue here. Some would say a retarded fight club. Some would say special needs dudes just slugging it out. What kind of sicko would work in a job where this is... Look, I understand you hate your job, but do you hate your job so much that you are now the Don King of wrangling retards? Everyone's gathered in the parking lot, laying down odds. I would even make up names for them, but I think at this point I'm just saddened by the fact that this is what people do with their free time. And then one more horn for good measure.
These defendants encouraged 2 developmentally disabled adults to participate in what I said on the record is a developmentally disabled fight club.
Special prosecutor Jacqueline Kagan says 1 group home worker shot cell phone video while 3 others raucously laughed as they encouraged 2 severely disabled men to fight.
They encouraged them to strike each other, one knocking one over in the wheelchair, and then rewarded them with praise.
That's it. You're slugging up dudes, and all they don't even get a snack cup. No, they're not even getting extra medication. They're not even getting, you do well in a program. You get a lot of stars in a row. They're not even getting extra stars. They're just getting attaboys as they just line up BattleBot style, 2 wheelchairs going with these sickos laughing in the background. Look, I'm no better. We're bringing this to the light, but I think here on Cart Path, you got to bring this to the light. You got to say, look, this is the America that we found ourselves in. And for you, the listener, you have to say, I am never going to participate in this again, or it's time to update the resume because this sounds like fun.
The disabled men in their 50s, but with the mental capacity of preschoolers, residents of this independent group home living program in Hampton Bays. The 4 workers charged with endangering the welfare of a disabled person and fired from their jobs. This father, with 2 developmentally disabled children, came to court to say 4 bad apples don't represent the caring people who work there.
Oh, and I like a father that shows up and says, look, I'm not going to let these barrels ruin the apples. Or wait a minute, I'm not letting these apples ruin the... It's something about apples. I don't know a whole lot about... Look, I saw Good Will Hunting, but I'm going to leave it at that. All right? What do you... Look, this is a tragic tale. Look, for us cart... Look, we would never have this involved. Look, if we were let's say you're driving up 18, okay? You've had a phenomenal round of golf. Maybe you've lost some money, and you're 10, 11 beers in as you finish the round. Now, look, if you and maybe somebody want to slug it out behind the 19th hole, you can do that. And if you're both inebriated, it's called being an adult. But when you're a special needs adult, you just can't have the fisticuffs.
I don't know what this world's coming to nowadays, but the fact that they did that and they thought that was funny, it wouldn't be so funny if they were the ones on the other end of the fist.
The fist. I love the guy. He said that like the fist. Like, what's everybody? You're listening to the Fist, Canada's newest metal project. I want everyone. All right. Well, look, you're only listening to this band because, well, if you live in Canada, you have to love all the bands that we give you to listen to. It's part of the rules. Much like if you live in the States, you got to hang out at the mall, except guess what? Nobody's hanging out at the mall anymore. Owner of a hot dog on a stick files for bankruptcy protection. Well, here we go, L.A. And like I said, I'm flying to La La Land myself. And how do you know I do not belong in L.A.? I called it La La Land. The owner of hot dog on a stick has filed for bankruptcy protection. I was going to say BK because I work in the industry. He filed for bankruptcy protection. The enterprise says its total debt ranges from $1 million to $10 million. How much money have they wasted on those disgusting four-color outfits? All right, I've always thought that in fact, it's demeaning to not only you're underpaying these poor people who have to sit in a food court and live their life. Do you want the lemon lemonade? Do you want the pink lemonade? Do you want the green lemonade? Do you want John to turn off his Facebook so the notification doesn't come on there? How about we wear a hat that we look like a Shriner, but it also looks like a popcorn bucket turned upside down? Hands down, one of the worst out. And look, to be honest, I totally caught a Hummer once from a chick who worked at Hot Dog on the Stick. I'm not proud of it, and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying it's one thing to look at that outfit, and it's another thing to see it on your floor. True story. The Los Angeles Times reports that Chapter 11. Oh, that's that's how businesses file. If you're the rank and file, we're filing 7. We're filing 13. You're a business. They're going 11. Chief Executive Dan Smith said in a statement that many mall-based businesses sign expensive leases during the booming mid-2000s, but the declining mall foot traffic in recent years has negatively... No one's going to the mall anymore. And look, if I go to the mall, I'm going samples, all right? I'm going to go eat the Thai food. I'm going to eat the orange chicken. I'm back at the Thai food. 4 laps around. I'm full. I haven't spent a dime. And that's why these people are filing bankruptcy. And look, what are you going to do? I mean... Is it the worst thing that I've heard in the history of news? Are these poor folks who are... What about these poor folks? Maybe they're raising a family on this hot dog on a stick money. I mean, could it be worse? Yeah, it could be worse. You could head on over to the independent.co.uk. You know it's coming out of the UK, so you know it's smart. And you know if it's smart, you know that the news is true. Student takes grinning selfie with dead body and posts on Instagram. Well, if you're going to finally get your first picture taken with a dead body, why would it not go to Instagram? Look, if I ever get a dead body and we're hanging out, the first thing I'm going to do is be like, look, smile. Just when you thought selfies to be outraged about had reached a peak, this whole funeral thing, a student in it's Alabama. What are you going to... You can't let these Alabamans do anything, all right? They're not to be trusted. They're scumbags. It's Mississippi light, all right? And a student in Alabama has provoked an internet fury. Really an internet fury? I don't really see a fury. I'll go down to the comments and see, is it a fury? What's the first? Ugh, her smile is horrendous. Wow, like a guy that says... Between the broad and the dead body, he goes after her smile. The unnamed student is seen grinning broadly as the corpse is covered with a sheet and a photo, which was taken during a school trip to the University of Alabama designed to teach pupils about anatomical donor program. Mobile phones explicitly banned for the visit, but this didn't stop this student from whipping hers out for the snap, which has since been removed from Instagram, but spotted by a classmate. Oh, who narcs on Instagram? Oh, you know what? Mind you, she shouldn't have done this. All right, let's be honest. All right, kind of a scumbag move. All right, but look, nobody likes a narc. Nobody likes a narc. I said, one of my favorite. You know, I used to substitute teach. All right, and one of the assignments that I had as a substitute teacher, kindergarten. And yeah, this me, John Tole, sitting. Oh, is it story time? Everyone gather around. I'm going to put on a lot of different voices, and we're going to read the story, and everyone's going to love it. And I remember sitting there and teaching, and this little girl came up, and she said, Jeff wants... He's thinking about touching me. He's not touching me, but he looks like he's going to think about touching me. Can you tell him something? And then I looked at her straight in the face, and I said, Damaris, nobody likes a narc. And that's really what it comes down to. And that's really my takeaway. All right, look, if you find out that there's some kind of retard fight club going on, drop a dime on that. All right, but if someone's just taking an oddball self, you know what? Then unfollow them. All right, well, what are you just going to be the person? What now? This poor girl can't just what if her whole... What if she had spent her whole life and all she wanted to do was hang around with fucking dead bodies like Quincy? She finally gets her shot to go to Alabama. She's showing her father she studied so hard to get into this program. Dad, I made it. Top of the world. Check out this body. The next thing, she's out of the fucking program, and now we're talking about her. No phones are allowed. No photos to be taken, and faces of cadavers are covered. A student was made explicitly aware of these policies and breached them. This kind of disrespect is unacceptable and very disappointing. Therefore, Karen Tuck in the Limestone County School Board Director of Public Relations and Technology. Whoa, what does that fucking nameplate look like? We are speaking to the University of Alabama, Birmingham. They are understandably upset with this incident. We want to preserve our relationship with the university. And if you're reading this story, right, what's right next to it, if you're the moron picking to read this story, is Nessie dead? That's what they want to know. Is the Loch Ness Monster dead? And I guess as far as England goes, they're still talking about that. All right. It could be worse. You want to know worse? I'll tell you, you want to hear the worst thing that I've heard? Worse than Retard Fight Club? Worse than the cadaver photo? Worse than anything we've talked on Carpath? How about this? Kansas court says a sperm donor must pay child support. A Kansas sperm donor caught in the middle of a child support case says he wanted to help a lesbian. Oh, what if he just helped a couple lesbians? Just the tip. Let me slide it in. What do you need? A little bit for me, a little bit for you, a little bit for you. I'm spreading it around. It's going to look like a paint sample when I'm done with it. Sperm donor caught in the middle of a child support case says he wanted to help a lesbian couple when he made the donation nearly 5 years ago. Instead, he may end up paying for his action. A judge ruled that William Murata must pay child support even though he has signed documents waiving his parental rights. Hey, you signed the fucking document, you get out of it, all right? He didn't even get to fuck these broads, and now he has to pay money? Is this the America we live in? Fuck that. A judge ruled that William Murata must pay child support even though he signed documents. I fucking read that twice, you fucking moron. The documents show the lesbian couple whom Murata helped conceive a child say they performed the artificial insemination procedure at home. The story begins on Craigslist in March of well, let that be a cautionary tale. Nothing involving sperm, nothing involving the creation of life, nothing involving a turkey baster needs to be on Craigslist. All right, that's more of a back page thing, so you go there first. That was Murata noticed an advertisement from the Topeka couple seeking donated sperm. Quote unquote, intrigued by the ad, he says he delivered 3 cupfuls of sperm gratis to the women. Now, one thing, what like an ad, like a measuring cup is just like what is this guy? I see this guy drive. I'm guessing he's driving a Volvo. He's just spent all morning filling up these cups. I'm assuming, right? Like he's probably chafed. You know, like when you beat it too much and you start to get that little scab on the side because your hand hits it in the wrong. All right, maybe I'm just talking about a little too much. And now he's just got cup holders. And you only have 2 cup holders in a car, so he's got 2 cup holders full of jizz. He's holding the other cup in his hand, but he's also shifting at the same time in this Volvo because, you know, look, a guy who's just here to help out, I'm assuming he doesn't have an automatic. This pregnancy wasn't automatic. See what I did there? One of the women gave birth to a daughter in December 2000. Okay, so he gave the jizz in March and she got pregnant in December. That's enough time. I think you're out of it. I donated the genetic material and that was it for me, he told the CNN affiliate WIBW, or so he thought. That changed when the parents separate. Oh, these lesbians, they can't stay together. What do they say? They make out and then the one moves in. Next thing you know, they got a couple. They're singing Melissa Etheridge songs. They changed. The parents separated. One of the women stopped working because of an illness and applied to the state. Oh, she applied to the state for the money. And then the Kansas officials were not. Wait. The state contacted Murata for child. Oh, dick move. No pun intended. Kansas officials not persuaded by what Murata says were agreements he signed before making his donations that he would assume no financial responsibility for the child who's now 4 years old. Oh, this fucking poor guy. You were just a guy on Craigslist. You were just a guy hanging out. You were just a guy who said, look, you need help. Did you hear me burp right there? Did you need a little bit? What about just a little bit of assistance? No good deed goes unpunished, people. I guess that's what it comes down to here in the world of the cart path. And I mean, has humanity fallen far enough? Have we taken you down the rabbit hole of I'll take you to a whole nother level. Do you want to go a whole nother level? All right, how about this? Vancouver is home to Canada's first crack pipe vending machines. Well, that's our world right now. Vancouver, the home to Canada's first ever crack pipe vending machines, which are erected in the city's troubled downtown east side, a bid to curb the spread of disease amongst drug users. How much would you think? What are you thinking? What's a crack pipe go? If I go to the local head shop and I'm looking around and I go, what do you have there as far as glassware that I can smoke a tobacco-related item out of? And they're like, don't say bong. And I said, I'm not. I'm saying crack pipe. What's the cost on it? $5. I'm paying it. Nope. 25 cents for these people right here. Look, for us, it was about increasing access to safer inhalation supplies. Well, I like how they call it inhalation supplies. Some people might say crack pipe, not these folks. She said the pipes are very durable and less likely to chip and cut drug users' mouth. Jeez, imagine not only you're smoking crack, but you got a cut mouth because you got one of these gnarly-ass pipes in your head. Oofa. The federal government tried to shut down the site in 2008. It survived thanks to a Supreme Court of Canada ruling that upheld the facility's exemption under the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act. This is one piece of the larger puzzle, he said. You have the choice to have treatment. You have the choice to have detox. You have the choice to have safe spaces to use your drug of choice. And you have to have clean and safe supply. She pointed out the pipes cost 25 cents. Every new case of HIV or hepatitis could cost the taxpayers up to $250,000. All right, then I'm in. You had me with the amount of savings. And look, these people are going to be crackheads. You help them out, because what are you going to be? You're going to be a guy dressed as a banana carrying an AK-47. Beaumont police cite a man dressed as a banana carrying said AK-47. I've been to Beaumont. I've been through it. They even have a comedy club there. I don't think I'll ever play it. Not if there's dudes rocking around. Just, hey, I got an AK-47 and a dream, and I got a banana suit, and I am here to make a stand. Beaumont police called to the Golden Triangle Tactical Saturday morning after complaints that a man dressed as a banana was seen holding an AK-47 outside the store near East Tex Freeway and Highway 105. Post says the man in the banana suit was holding an AK-47 across his back with the barrel pointing down, holding a sign with an arrow pointing towards the store. His idea was to attract customers. Well, that's one way to get people in there. Hey, what the fuck? What? Really? Think about that. That's somebody's idea. Like this is this guy's idea. And look, I'm no better. I sit on Facebook and Twitter and I'm like, look, check out the shows that I'm doing. Check out the podcast that I'm doing. Check out the blog that I wrote. But I'm not doing it in a fucking banana suit. And if I had an AK-47, I wouldn't take it outside because I'm not an a-hole. Poe says the man in the banana suit, let's see, officers temporarily detained the 18, no, he's fucking 18, and found he had a rifle with a drum magazine attached with at least a 50-round capacity, cited for violating a city ordinance that prohibits soliciting in and alongside roadways. His gun was seized, later charged with disorderly conduct after police say witnesses claimed they were scared for their life. You know what? If you see a guy with a gun in a banana suit, but it's pointed down and it looks like he's holding an arrow, then he's not a fucking danger. He's just a moron. Poe claims he was exercising a sexy Second Amendment right to open carry. Parkdale Mall then placed signs along each parking lot entrance reminding customers of its policy on guns, which states concealed handguns are prohibited. Poe then moved his business from Parkdale Mall to another location. Well, look, you got to sell whatever you're selling it. And if it takes a gun and a banana and a dream, well, this is the America that we all signed up for. And look, I got to cut the show short. I've got a flight to catch in 1 hour as I continue to talk right now. It is 3:30 in the morning. And what I don't need sleep. I don't need sleep at all because I am going to sleep on the plane. I'm going to sleep upright and I'm going to snore so loud they're going to wake me up and say, "Sir, you are louder than the plane." All right. Thanks for checking out Carpath. Thanks for supporting the sponsors. Find me online, johntole.com, Facebook and Twitter @JohnTole. Check the tour dates, check the blog. Just keep checking back. And if you're enjoying the show, pass it along to your friends. I'm out of here. Namaste.